Some of humankind's greatest achievements and most recognizable icons come from the field of architecture. Architecture can give form to our highest ideals or reflect our social failings. Every culture and time has its own stylistic elements which evolved due to changing tastes, engineering advances, and new building materials. Although many cultures have what is known as their classical style of architecture, in the West that generally refers to principles derived from ancient Greece and Rome. Columns, arches, and domes are recognizable elements that originated from this period. These elements were revived around the time of the Italian Renaissance, when architects began to regain interest in the theories of Roman architect Vitruvius. By the 18th century, these classical elements were being used by architects to show that the values of European and American culture reflected the high ideals of truth and beauty of the Greeks and Romans. At the end of the 19th century in Europe, artists, architects, and craftspeople wanted to bring aesthetic beauty into all aspects of life and erase the boundaries between art and craft. Rejecting the rigid rules of classical form, these architects turned to nature for their inspiration. A new style, an Art Nouveau, arose which used natural materials and emphasized curves and other organic forms. Catalonian architect Antoni Gaudí was the leading proponent of the Art Nouveau style. Just before World War I, another new style of architecture and industrial design known as Art Deco emerged. Influenced by Islamic and Mayan architecture, Japanese woodblock prints, ancient Egyptian art, and modern painting, this eclectic style was characterized by bright colors, geometric patterns, glass and ceramic decorative elements, and innovative lighting schemes. As part of the recovery from the Great Depression of 1929, the economic policies of President Franklin Roosevelt, known as the New Deal, put many Americans to work building roads and bridges. By the 1930s, travel by automobile was becoming more prevalent, especially in the geographically large U.S. Looking for ways to attract this new throng of motorists to their shops and restaurants, business owners employed architects to make unique buildings that would also act as advertising. Often employing humor or visual puns, this style would become known as novelty or kitsch architecture. This style generally takes two forms. Mimetic architecture uses forms that buildings don't normally take. Animals, coffee pots, and even hot dogs have been used as the form for buildings. The other novelty approach is to reproduce other famous or fantasy buildings, like the Great Lighthouse of Alexandria or Camelot. Exaggerated and oversized sculptures are often incorporated as part of the overall design scheme. Although originating in America, this style has spread to many other countries. Due to their unique look, these buildings often serve as landmarks and tourist attractions, especially in small towns. With the advent of modern freeways, these roadside attractions no longer had a large audience, and this style of architecture became itself a quaint novelty.